Was good, Adam. Man, I was offline for 3 days and the entire government just bends the knee to crypto. What the hell happened? I was in a desert trying to escape. Now crypto's mainstream, I guess.
Bro, we're back. If you didn't know, we're back. It's funny how, like, what is the thing that, like, I was trying to think, like, okay, what's the thing that kicked this all off? And you got to go to that Trump, like, dinner for his NFT collectors, right? And you had a bunch of DeGod guys there, and the one dude who like asked the question, and that kicked off
Malcolm.
Yeah, Malcolm, and that kicked off like this whole thing, man. It's like the slippery slope to, I don't know, Trump raises 15, $20 million from, the crypto bros, to now Biden is, putting out tweets like, hey, crypto and big oil has donated to Trump, and now I need you to stand up for, this kind of pitting A versus B type thing, to now, it's just like this slope to where Biden's not gonna veto this bill. And people are like, oh my God, the US is bullish on crypto. It's like, and then you get all these like OGs like Bruce Fenton are just like, no, man, this is like a psyop by Wall Street to basically introduce CBDCs and their own stable coins. And so there's all this stuff at play, man. It is never a more interesting time to be in crypto, though. This is fun stuff.
Yeah, so did Trump announce how much they've raised so far? I did see that he's accepting SHIB, which is wild. That was
bro, Dogecoin is money, bro. This is what we eventually all come to, is that at the end of the day, all these meme coins, this is the new currency, bro. Memes are the new currency. The quicker we come around to this and understand this fact, like, the new money is meme coins. This is the new money. Like, the sooner we get here, the better.
Yeah, well, so think about it. So SHIB, we'll use SHIB as an example, because I saw that as like I would say that was the biggest surprise of Trump accepting them. SHIB is the largest, at least currently, the largest meme coin on Ethereum. It's been relatively stable. It's been around the same price literally since 2022 when the whole market came down. Vitalik also at one point donated, what was it, like half of the SHIB supply to, I forget what country that was. Was it?
It was India? To an NGO. And yeah, so anybody who doesn't, they when they created the coin, they basically they gave Vitalik like half the supply, and nobody thought he would ever touch it, right? That was the kind of thing. It's like sending it to the Satoshi address, right? You assume nothing's ever going to move, but then he quickly donated it to this NGO, and people were like, oh, it's going to run to zero. But then it took off like a rocket ship. It turned out to be, I don't know, it was like $6 billion or something at the peak.
It was a lot. Yeah. So I mean, so if you think about it in that way, right, that meme coins are being used for donations, or that meme coins have some sort of positive impact in the world, right? I mean, they're highly speculative, but from the highest levels, they've been used for donations. And now that's going to continue on with, supporting Trump and XYZ political candidates across the world. Is that a bullish catalyst for meme coins? Because since they have a lot of value, less utility, but you see politicians and, government organizations using them as a way to, help others or help themselves, whether it's a nonprofit organization or kind of a political campaign. Does that put meme coins in more of a positive light? But then also, does it put a lot of sell pressure on meme coins? Because, these politicians and government organizations, they can't fund, right, their campaigns with SHIB. They have to do it with US dollars. So it kind of is a catch-22 in this situation, where it could bring the whole thing down, but also puts a positive spin on it, right? Because people right now just think it's gambling. But if it's funding whatever their agenda is, right, then people look at it differently.
I mean, obviously we're all in the meme coin trenches right now, and we realize that attention is the hardest thing, right? And so if you're donating to Trump and Trump gets, $5 million in SHIB, and then says, hey, thanks for the SHIB donations, like, every SHIB owner on earth will take that 100 times out of 100, right? Because it's the attention it brings, right? Brings in new buyers, new people into the community. Yeah, we'll all trade that 100%. Yes. So in my estimation, and I'd love to hear, dissenting views, but it seems like in the attention economy, we pray for that sort of attention. So yeah, and that would be worth any sort of down pressure in sell pressure, I think.
So you're saying if Trump comes out and says that he received $5 million in donations in Doge and $3 million in SHIB, you think that people will end up buying that and that it'll send the price higher?
Well, I don't know about buying it, but the attention generated by that, if it pops up on CNBC that like it did for Vitalik, I mean, what they did with Vitalik, they never expected Vitalik to actually move those tokens. But when he did, and he went through that process, and it was big news all over the place that he went through that process of actually donating that. And actually, it was like a real pain because he had to do his, get his keys to that cold storage wallet and all that sort of stuff. I mean, was that important in the life cycle of SHIB and bringing it much, much higher? Like 100%, man. I mean, that was like news on CNBC, right? So yeah, I think you can't pay for that type of advertising. Obviously, it works, and a lot of other meme coins have used that strategy. So yes, I think it's fantastic, bro. Your Doge bags are doing really nice. I gotta like those Doge bags.
Let's go. Let's hope that he starts accepting Doginals here pretty soon. Let's go to the hands. We got a bunch of hands on. We'll go to BCC, Faded, and then Ellen right afterwards.
Awesome. Hey guys. I was just gonna agree with Jake here. I think like if that happens and Trump publicly, gives a thanks to a meme coin community, let's say it's SHIB, and then this is on like CNBC, like the people of that community, the meme coin community is gonna go crazy with that content on Twitter. So I really think I agree with that. Like you can't buy that type of advertisement. So at the end of the day, I feel like that might actually be a positive. But I do get the point where the sell pressure is going to come if these things like these meme tokens are donated. They're going to have to sell it. Obviously, they're not going to be able to buy services or goods with it. But at the end of the day, the advertisement, I think, is just like going to come on top. It's just like probably bigger than a Super Bowl ad.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty fair. I think it depends on, right, how many other political campaigns are going to start accepting donations over the next, we'll say maybe 2 years, because you want to think about all of the other countries as well. And then also, this is just like even more speculation, right? Do any of these campaigns create their own meme coin to fund, right? That might be even easier, right? If they just say, if Trump just says, hey, here's Trump coin, and, right? Fuck Trump or Donald Trump or Trump on ETH. You buy Donald coin and this directly funds, you don't got to go through any other bullshit, right? Just USD buys for this Donald coin and we'll go here. I think that's also a possibility.
Bro, we talked about that. I think we might have even tweeted about it. If Trump created his own rune, right? And just minted the entire supply, right, of rune, or etched the entire supply and then sold them, like, is there any doubt on, like, he could literally raise $30 million today for that token, like easily today. I'd be a buyer. Like, how much that coin's going to be worth $1 billion coin, like overnight. Like this, like, put me in touch with Trump. Like this has got to happen, dude. I mean, dude, would that be the craziest, awesome strategy? And the thing is, he could totally do it. Like, he's done NFT drops. He could do a token, like, no doubt. Anyway, go ahead, Faded. Sorry to cut you off there, Jake.
No, all good. And I do think this is all ultra bullish. At the end of the day, meme coins is all about attention and culture. And, when people come into a space, and I've experienced this with people that I'm onboarding now with normies, I give them, I show them how to download a wallet. I show them how to do that. And I want to see where their eyes go first. And if you're rich, you're not trying to buy Bitcoin right now. You're trying to buy culture, because that's what you're here for and be part of a movement. So that's really what all meme coins are, is culture and part of a movement. And if Trump is coming out and saying, hey, I support this, people are wanting to be part of that movement and part of that culture. So I do think it's bullish for all meme coins. And at the end of the day, it's all about the attention and the culture and the movement.
Yeah. I would also say, though, that at least from the US political landscape, right, maybe this first round, they let some of these donations happen. But at some point, there's going to be some sort of donation reform to where they're going to have to set up specific rules. And the only reason I say this is just from my experience of my previous business. Chris isn't here on stage, but we used to talk with and lobby with the Gaming Control Board and different commissions in Las Vegas to get crypto adoption. And one of the biggest issues that came up every single time was this idea of like source of funds, where it's like eventually, or you have to trace the funds back to a certain source, and the majority of those end up, those coins come with, you know, some sort of malicious or some sort of like non-regulatory kind of channels. And I would assume that once politicians start accepting these donations, there's probably going to be some type of reform to where you're going to have to go through these. Like for the casinos we were talking about, like most of these casinos would have to probably create their own coin just to be able to trace all of it. But at some point, right, if you're converting Bitcoin or Ethereum to whatever dog or Trump coin, right, those funds go back to the Silk Road or to the Ethereum ICO or to whatever it is. So that'll be interesting to see them debating over how that is smoothed out. But I guess from what we see this morning from the White House, they're just basically saying, yeah, we're going to create reform and try to support all the tokens in the way that we can. I could see a bunch of these tokens being classified down to different things between utility tokens, meme coins, etc., and really just, I guess, add the category to it itself. So I'm most interested to see where that goes here. Ellen, thanks for waiting patient.
Of course. This is Ellen from Holland. I just posted a post in the Jumbotron. It was shared by Ordinal News. It says, breaking, White House is eager to work with Congress to develop a balanced regulatory framework for digital assets. So that's really, really bullish, right?
Yeah, I don't trust them. I don't trust them. I believe it as far as I can throw them, which isn't far. I mean, I just like, this is just my spidey sense goes up, you know, to that Star Wars meme. It's a trap. It's a trap. Like it just feels like this is the way they get regulatory capture. That's what it might be very bullish in the short term and very bullish for Ethereum and Bitcoin. But I just feel that's what my gut says. What do you think?
So, it could be. Yeah, my first response was, "Oh, that's great, you know." But there's always another side to a coin, right?
Yep.
In this case, to a meme coin or whatever. But that's not why I came up. I posted this while I was coming up, and I saw this pop up. Why I was coming up was, it was said before by DeFi, I believe. So what if Trump does get a lot of Shiba Inu or Dogecoin? I mean, a lot. And then it's going to trade it for the best store of value we have available, let's say Bitcoin, right? It does something to the course, though. The coin is going to drop.
Yeah, it'd be funny. It'd be interesting if some of these political candidates accept donations, or they choose like a blockchain of their choice, where they're like, "I'm moving my residency over to Bitcoin. I will only accept Bitcoin assets because it my XYZ values."
I'm taking my talents to Solana, like that type of thing. It's like Frank, they're gonna jump chains.
Yeah, and then the other idea about runes. Yeah, I think it's time for us to even push harder to get runes known by the public. And I see a future also where like famous people, not only politicians but other famous people, like we had before with NFTs. Famous people buying NFTs. I'm not gonna mention when. We all know which ones. We all know which ones. But they're starting their own rune coin, and that's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, it leads down to this idea of social tokens, which was something I was super bullish on last cycle. And I think this almost goes down the same path again, where it's just this idea of a social token was it was very generalized, but there was no indication of what specifically that meant. I think it's becoming a little bit more clear now through meme coins, right? Where meme coins right now are essentially just a community coin that people rally against. Eventually, you're going to have individuals coming in creating their own coin, right? Like Trump or whoever, and kind of going down this way, which is it's just gonna be hyper specialized. But at that point, then you think like, does the pendulum reverse and you start adding utility to these tokens because you just have like hundreds of billions of dollars in just like floating value or reserve value, I guess.
Oh, definitely. But it totally depends on who's behind the coin, I think, and the community, the people that are in the community, the skills of the people in the community, the willingness to, put effort in it and keep putting effort in it, and it's sustainable.
I mean, if you think about the NFTs, I mean, it was joking. I mean, this was the whole last cycle was like, they went into Bored Apes. It was utility. It was, the yacht club visits and all this sort of stuff. And you think about what Trump did with his NFT collection. Like, if you don't know, that entire like thing where he was giving the speech, those were all NFT holders, right, for that whole dinner. And like, I know a guy, you might know him too, Jake. We'll talk offline, but he had one of like the gold, NFTs from Trump. And like, so he got to sit like at the table with Trump because he held like the gold, Trump version, right? And so it's not far-fetched to think like, okay, if you had the Trump rune, if you had enough of them, whatever, you have 1 million of those, you get the, the private dinner with Trump or something like that. So it's not far-fetched that we move back into like utility tokens here pretty shortly.
Absolutely not.
I actually think we are at some point in time. You got to, especially for showing purpose and showing like different type of token reform that's going to happen. They're going to add these different types of classifications, right? Utility tokens, meme coins will probably be one, and they're going to create different rule sets around them. Probably similar rule sets, but there will be a different degree of taxes for different types of things and different type of regulatory reforms, right? Utility tokens should be treated differently than meme coins. I would also say that utility tokens will probably get a little bit more leeway when it comes to building, because this is going to be what entrepreneurs are going to use to, try to take on the digital economy. And then meme coins will just be speculative gambling. Maybe you see those in the casinos in Vegas after all, right? It'll be exciting to see. We got a lot of hands though. We're going to start making the rounds. I think Odin had his hand up, so we'll start with Odin first.
So my idea is that the closer we start to get to this election, the more crazy things are about to get. And I hear you guys talking about like regulatory and all that stuff, but I think all that's coming like way down the road, like after the election. But from here until the election, what we're going to see is a whole bunch of like craziness to the point because these politicians, they want money. That you saw that letter or whatever, that text a couple of days ago from like people on the Democrat side are worried that Trump is gaining all this money and he's getting more funds. The Democrats now on their end are going to have to push even harder. Right now, what they're going to do is fight very hard for our attention. And when it comes to meme coins, we're talking about the monetization of culture. And these politicians are going to have to fight for our attention, fight to prove that they're part of our culture. So what I'm seeing is that they're going to accept meme coins as is. All this regulatory stuff's not going to come to way after. And they're not only going to accept it, they're going to push it. I can see the Democrats, I can see the Republicans pushing their own meme coins to like show that they have their own culture and stuff, like the Republican coin or the Democrat coin and stuff to prove, and then push that so like their own voters get in on it, and then that right there brings in more of the public, and then that right there brings in more money, and that right there brings in way higher market caps for all of our meme coins and stuff. That's what I'm seeing right now.
Send it back. Create the super cycle. Yeah, I agree.
Exactly. We're going into into a whole new paradigm. Like we've never seen. I've been in crypto since 2013. We have never seen anything like this ever. So what this is the new paradigm. This is the super cycle getting started and stuff. So I just think closer we get to this election, the crazier, and it's going to blow all of our expectations away. And when it comes to like runes, for instance, I'm not sure. Like I'm super bullish on runes. That's probably where most of my money's at. And I don't think that politicians are going to get into that right away. But I do think that all this extra hype and all this money going into all these meme coins and onto all these chains will filter their way into rune coins. So all of us are going to eat. So that's not even a worry. All of us are going to eat very, very, very well going forward.
I would say though, you know, I've been also in the space since 2016. Every cycle I have heard this is a new paradigm. I want to push back on that a little bit, just to note that I have seen it's a different type of token every time, but very similar type ideology the last two other cycles that I've been a part of.
Yeah, but the difference is we never had politicians. We never had huge wealth managers. We never had any of this. What we had were people like me and you in here, people that were libertarians that were pushing this, you know, we want this new era of coins, we want this new era of monetization and stuff. But we never had people like Trump, Biden, Democrats, Republicans, people like companies like BlackRock, people who dwarf our money. And now they're all chasing our money. That's the difference. That's the new paradigm. Like back in the day, we could say, "Oh, new paradigm this, new paradigm that," and like, and maybe it kind of was. You know, each cycle our market caps kept flying up and stuff. But this is like unreal. And not only do we have like wealth managers and politicians, we also got countries, huge countries that are now trying to jump into this. We got states trying to jump into this. This is a whole new environment, like something that none of us have ever seen before. And I just think that's the most bullish thing for all of us.
I don't disagree with you, Odin. My question is though, okay, if people are buying the ETF, right, and so you're getting Bitcoin, and we'll assume for now that Ethereum gets the ETF too, and so you have Wall Street basically sucking in this liquidity. So all of our bags rise, but then, I mean, is it then okay? Then we sell some of our bags and then buy meme coins with it, right? It's not like we're getting new meme coin people in, if you know what I'm saying. It's not like I convince my brother, he gets a MetaMask and buys some Ethereum, right? It's different this time around. Do you know what I'm saying? So I don't know how you look at it from that perspective.
So like I hear what you're saying. What I do think is that builders are going to have to make it easier for like the public to get in on this. But I also think that with this whole like election cycle happening, people are going to be incentivized to actually like look into getting a MetaMask, to look into buying these things. But we have stuff like Coinbase where they could just buy Ethereum that way and stuff.
Yeah,
but,
yeah. Just my thing, like, why would they, if they can just buy the ETF and the 401k? Why on earth would they go through all the hassle of having a Bitcoin wallet, right? So it's almost like there has to be a FOMO level. Oh shoot, I'm missing out on, you know, meme coins. You know, there has to be that kind of thing, which you know, gets normies to take those extra steps, if you know what I'm saying.
And that is definitely going to happen when the media comes out and says so and so made $1 million off of WIF, so and so made $1 million off of Tramp and stuff. Like these, so my opinion is that like these political meme coins like Tramp and Bowden, those are going to blow off like crazy once we start getting closer to the election. And people start hearing like, oh, you know, it's gonna be all over, you know, CNBC or whatever. People are gonna be making millions off these coins and stuff. And when people hear this, they're gonna be like, whoa, like I need to make my money on this. And this happens every cycle, every single cycle. We like NFTs last cycle. People were hearing on the news, people were making millions of bucks on NFTs. So what do you see? A whole bunch of people running into NFTs, a whole bunch of people that weren't into NFTs prior now running into it. Now pushing things like Bored Ape all the way up. Now seeing celebrities, and once you see celebrities getting into all this stuff, all the public, all the retail sides, they start to run right into it, and they'll bypass Coinbase, they'll bypass the ETFs because you can't get meme coins on the ETF. So they're going to see these meme coins making people a lot of money. And you got to also think, so since COVID happened, the US dollar has lost 25% of its value. So people are struggling right now. People could barely pay their bills right now and stuff. People are seeing the value of their wealth go down at a quicker rate than they've ever seen in American history. So that right there is on everyone's mind right now. So when they see, hey, so-and-so made a crazy amount of money, $1 million or whatever, on some random ass trash coin, they're gonna be like, maybe I should take that risk. Maybe I should.
No, that's not the trash coin. That's the future of finance, bro. What are you talking about?
For them to these everyday retail people, it might be the future of finance. It's something different, something that they can actually like see hope in. Because right now, if you're working a job and stuff, and you're trying to make it buy and stuff, you're starting to see that you can't buy as much as what you could have. You're starting to see that all your wealth is starting to go down, and people would actually not want that to happen. So once they start seeing like everyone making money, all these politicians making money, all these wealth managers making money, these meme coins are making money, so celebrities are pushing meme coins, they're gonna be like, well, no, fuck it, I'm gonna download a MetaMask, I'm gonna download a Phantom, I'm gonna look into how do I buy these meme coins, and people are gonna work harder for it. And then on the other side, builders are gonna have to make it easier. Builders are gonna have to make it more accessible and stuff. So I think both of those are gonna happen. They're gonna work together, and we're going to see a crazy run up, like a truly super cycle.
I actually don't ascribe to the celebrities pushing meme coins. I think because of what happened last cycle, I think that the celebrities and quote unquote the more famous people are more aware of what comes with crypto. I guess over the last 2 years, it's really last 2 cycles that's really happened. I don't discount though that retail or the new entrants will want to buy the new coins. I actually was riding home from EDC and I was talking with my Uber driver about he was asking me about SHIB, right? And I was quite surprised that was the one that he had brought up. I thought it'd be something a little bit newer. And actually, right, we haven't really seen a huge wave of quote unquote retail, right? Because that came generally from Robinhood last time around. And those tokens that are being listed on Robinhood are generally the more established coins, right? More established meme coins, I guess, in this case. So you could kind of see it moving in 2 ways where politicians and hedge funds, etc., they need large amounts of liquidity, right? If you're Donald Trump right now, you need to raise literally as much money as possible, $1 billion, $2 billion, whatever it is. If you're a hedge fund, you need to be able to allocate, 8 figures or more into a trade, and you can't bury these into tokens that are under $1 billion, right? You need $10 billion in liquidity to be able to move this kind of stuff. So I'd say the more established ones are probably going to look for these meme coins that have been around for multiple years, and also have probably good distribution metrics to it. Whereas retail, people like myself and all of us on the stage, we'll get in the trenches, whether you're on Dex Screener, looking for Solana meme coin, or if you're on Luminex looking for a new runes being etched. That is not going to be the more established teams. It's going to be just us. So you could probably see a few different segments of it, right? I'd be very surprised to see a lot of these hedge funds using Pump.Fund to try to get in early, right? Before the LP is established. It's not that type of thing. But it'll be interesting to see how the meme coins evolve across all these different chains, or if they're all just kind of treated the same. So we'll move on to I don't know who's order first. We'll go to Wolf and then we'll go to Lump right after.
Gmog, everybody. I think Slumped was first, but since you called on me, I will gladly say what's up. I heard about this space through Faded Alpha. He's the homie. My cousin. Same with Blumped. I love Blumped. Yeah, no, I'm very excited for what's going on. Obviously, you don't want to cream in your jeans in the colloquial term here, but I think the market seems like it's on like sort of an easy mode if you found a basket of, blue chip memes. And it's kind of funny to look at things like that right now. But definitely very excited for what's going on the Ethereum side. Very early to Pepe. That was one of the most magical things I've ever seen in my life so far. And then when Mog was found, it was really cool. It's the composability. And I think that what's really cool into this cycle, you've seen it with like other coins too. You know, the composability like the Pit Vipers to put on any PFP. You saw with Whiff with the hat, and you see it with others now too. And yeah, going into this like election cycle, I know you guys had touched on that. I really think that if you take a look at what the D-Gods did down at Mar-a-Lago to get, you know, they asked Trump a question, and the guy, he literally goes, the guy with the goggles.
Yeah.
You know, like it's such a small world when you really think about it. Clearly, we have a lot more ground, you know, to go, but it feels very good about, you know, like Mog launched about like 10 months ago, and to have been a contributing, you know, like every day on the timeline to see how far it's grown is great. And I think that it's a very good sign for crypto when you have a bipartisan approach now to, hey, we know this shit's for real. We can't, you know, kick the can down the road anymore. And I really think that we're positioned well, but just don't get too excited, and then, you know, don't forget the moment, you know. So I'll let everyone else talk, and then maybe I'll chime in later.
Well, give us your perspective on you know, going for sticking with, you know, kind of more top tier, what are now top tier, like Whiff and Mog, or driving in a little bit to like these under. Are you looking, if you're looking for a smaller cap, are you looking for this compostability? I mean, obviously that's something that's completely worked for kind of spreading the meat.
Personally, look, I'm kind of what the term mognominous here. Like I have a Pepe bag that for over a year because I really love the green frog. But yeah, no, I definitely know. I haven't really been on the lookout for other projects. I've just been kind of mognominous, right? And but it doesn't mean that I don't support things. I want everyone to do well at the end of the day because I want to do well. And this ecosystem, you need other people to do well. I mean, obviously, it's kind of PvP, but when you find like really cool, I guess you could say, groups of individuals who come together and like you create a community or some sort of like colloquial terms, understanding like Mog with higher IMO, put the pump on the coin, shut the fuck up and send it, bitch. I mean, there's so many little things that we come up with, and like I just think that's very important. Like it's almost like a guild, you know, because yeah, there are groups that are of moggers who like would create groups, we talk, and I'm sure there's alpha about other coins or ecosystems. I just think I think the composability factor, sorry, I'm outside. So if there's recoil, but it's really important right now that you just really just stand on your conviction. What was so cool about Mog early on was that the fact that it's a verb, right? It's an action. It's something actionable. It's kind of like the term Google, if you really think about it. You know, every brand wants to be a verb. And I look at these coins as, in a way, as brands, you know, and obviously, you know, they represent, you know, like on Ethereum or Solana, but they are brands, you know, and you can look at NFTs obviously the same way. I just think that meme coins are so much more fun. Yeah, before I get carried on any tangents, anyone else want to chime in?
So is it meme coins are more fun, or meme coins make you more money, right?
You know, I look at it like this. I think that fun and money obviously go hand in hand. But yeah, no, to be honest, like I never really got into the NFTs as much as I did meme coins. I mean, obviously NFTs are cool. I really like Milady's. I like Emilio's. I like my Goblin Areno. But like, I think meme coins, it's like, I just think that a lot more people can have, you know, can get on in it to make money. I think that, you know, there's not like a limited collection of 10,000 or 5,000. I think that, you know, especially with the rise of Pepe and to see how well it did so early, I think that just told me, he said, yes, something about this whole thing is just obviously going to get a lot larger. And clearly looking at a year later, I'm like, no shit. But I definitely think meme coins have something here that they're going to, you know, basically do very well compared to last cycle. So yeah, did I answer that question or no?
Yeah, I mean, I think most people are just probably burnt out from the utility wave of last cycle with NFTs, right? Every NFT company turned into a gaming company, and it seems like all those gaming companies went to zero pretty much. So people just want to be able to speculate. Here's a question that I'll propose. I pulled up here on our live stream. It says that Doge, this is just like a random headline. Dogecoin pumps 9%. The odds for a Doge ETF look brighter than ever. And a handful of crypto VCs and hedge fund managers have begun to start discussing a Dogecoin ETF. So if a Dogecoin ETF is approved, right, it is the grandfather of meme coins. It wasn't the first meme coin, but it's one of the first, one of the earliest. It's obviously the most popular. If a Dogecoin ETF is approved, does all of the meme coin liquidity flow to Doge because now you have the entire stock market buying a Doge ETF and you have actual institutional demand? Is there a possibility? We'll start with Lump. I see them putting their thumb down.
Hi, thanks. Yeah. So I wanted to answer a different question first, if that's okay, just because it got brought up. Someone, the question about shit, I don't remember exactly what it was, but basically you were talking about meme coins. You kind of just now said it, honestly. Like, meme coins in their current iteration are the most symptomatic things that we've seen in crypto to date. Like, so in the past, we had all these like hyper specific utility things where everybody was kind of claiming that their project would, shift the very fabric of finance. It would like change everything. And as we've seen, like literally none of that has ever come to fruition. And I think that even the two meme coins that really got a lot of attention last cycle, Sheeb and Doge, both of those like huge swaths of the supply were cornered by very, very small groups of individuals. And then when retail finally did enter and start buying Sheeb and Doge, they got absolutely massacred, So all of like Pepe, Mog, with like all these coins that we're seeing now really are just a symptom of a market that was created by people that were at their core. And I'm not trying to, I am like nefarious at heart. Like, they had one thing and one thing alone in mind, and that was to extract value from other people. So meme coins in their current like iteration are pretty much the polar opposite of that. It's like a symptom of a bunch of people like looking at the market and saying, no, I'm sick of this. Like, it sucks. And I think that, people, I tend to do this too. It's very easy to just like lump retail into one category and just be like, oh yeah, retail will do this, retail will do that. But at the end of the day, it's like really not that simple. Like, there's a lot of nuance involved, because at the end of the day, like, yes, some retail participants might hop in and they might just buy what's on Robinhood, but the internet is like more pervasive than it's ever been before. People are spending more time behind a screen than ever. Like, that's not going to be the case for everybody. We're going to have a lot of people that do hop in and they're like, they may start with Robinhood, but then they do kind of take that leap and, they're buying runes or whatever they want. I'm permanently bullish on Mog, so I would love to see more retail people come in here. But at the end of the day, I think that we're applying like strictures that existed before COVID to an environment that is totally different. Like, I just don't think that we're in the same spot anymore. And someone had brought up the utility question. It might become in a couple years where we're all doing like a chicken or the egg thing, but realistically, the utility that people promised in the past, like, we just straight up did not have the liquidity in the market for that to work, for any of that to really happen. So, maybe it will be meme coins that bring in like heavy on-chain liquidity. And then some of this utility stuff has a better shot of working. There's really no telling. But I think the fact is, with all the L2s, with all these like Coinbase's base, with like Arbitrum, all these different L2s, Blast, whatever, they are printing money. They are absolutely printing money. Like, L2s, like, there is a very, very clear incentive for places like Coinbase to get people on chain in a way that has not existed before. So I think that like just standing there and being like, oh yeah, like retail isn't going to get on chain. I don't totally agree with that. I think it's going to be, a mix where some people are on chain, some people aren't, obviously. But we're in a really unique position where, one, people are fed up with the promises of utility. Like, at the end of the day, like, I have been promised this, that, and the other by this team, that team, and the other team for years. And no one has ever delivered, even if they tried.
They failed to deliver the number one utility, which is price go up, right? They failed. And
exactly.
Essentially. Yeah.
To your point with that, though, let's talk about for a second, like what's going on with Base and with Brett over there, that token, right? It's come out now that those guys who launched it basically had 100% of the supply, right? So they had 100% of the supply.
But that's come out. Oh, sorry. Continue. My bad.
Yeah, so they were able to completely manipulate that price up, right? Which got people to FOMO, got people to buy in. But now that it's been exposed and they still own like a huge swath of the supply, still like there's this artificial dynamic where price is still high, yet people see that it was a complete scam at the beginning, but yet price is high because they control the price. And I don't know if you guys have any comments on that. Maybe Wolf.
Yeah, I definitely do. I think that like what I'm not trying to say that teams are just gonna like there's still gonna be bad actors. Like that's always gonna be the case. We're not just gonna like eventually get to a point where people with nefarious intentions just don't enter crypto, because at the end of the day, this is the easiest platform to scam people on. It just is. So I think that like, yeah, of course there's still going to be bad actors in the space that are doing stuff like that, but the difference is like with the communities that kind of have maybe started with NFTs and really been built out through meme coins, like we're in a position where as soon as that information became public knowledge, it was public knowledge. Does that make sense? Like, yeah, I think that like, yeah, there are always going to be nefarious teams, but because of the communities that these different coins have built, we're in a space now where like people aren't able to get away with this stuff nearly as easily as they were in the past. Like with Sheeb, dude, people had no idea. Even with Dogecoin, people had no idea that I think it was upwards of 55% were held by like 3 wallets, like as Elon Musk was doing his thing. I think that we're just in a much different
don't go spreading rumors about Elon.
Well, I'd like to add on to something which was talking about. So what's really cool about these meme coins, specifically Memecoin, and I love Memecoin, is that like 100% of the supply, right, was just like it's circulating, correct? And like a lot of these coins are similar. What's cool about these meme coins is like most like are fully diluted. It's not like Bonk, that still has a lot of unlocks or whatever. I don't even own Bonk, so I don't want to speak bad on it. But I'm saying like, or Brett, like I don't own any. But good for people. I want them to make money. But it gives me like a lot of reassurance to know, hey, like 100% of the supply is circulating. I don't have to worry about someone just dumping percentages of the supply. There's no like inflation. It's not like more Mog coins being printed. You know what I mean? It's not like more Pepe's being printed. It's like it's all circulating, and it's like up to the market, up to the participants to keep it relevant and to keep it cool and to create cool shit to get more people to come in. And yeah, and like. Anyways, I'm going to shut up because it's loud.
Yeah, I think Wolf does have a good point in that, like, with Mog, like, particularly, I think it was like 88% of the supply, Wolf, like, right into the LP. Like, there's always going, like, if the team is willing to stand there and work, I fundamentally believe that they should be rewarded for their efforts. But rewarding for their efforts should not mean, like, a quarter of the supply goes to 2 guys. Does that make, like,
100%.
The market... Yeah, the market is going to decide what it thinks is fair. And the market has made like a clear decision, like Memecoin, the market likes it, the market loves it. And I think with Pepe, it's the same thing. Like Pepe was just a fair launch. People, I don't know. I think that we are just more educated.
I don't know about Pepe being a fair launch. I think those guys held a ton of Pepe at the beginning. I think part of the benefit is that they rolled out over time. And I think now it's much more in the hands of like a wider base.
Yeah, they had to burn a bunch of it to get listed on Binance.
Yeah, I mean, I think the point I'm really making is the market decides what's fair and what's not. And with Brett, we clearly saw that there is a cutoff. Does that like?
Yeah.
There are coins that the market is going to be like, no, we're not going to stand for that. Because like I'm not too savvy on like the launch of Pepe. Like I really just wasn't super. I think I was on vacation when Pepe launched, so I wasn't paying a ton of attention. Terrible time to go on vacation. But despite that, the market like clearly decided that the way that they launched it and the way that they did things was cool, was like totally fine. And then with Brett, with these other coins, the market cap might be high, but the market is clearly saying like, no, that's not cool. We're not going to support that. We're not going to like build a community behind that. We're not going to have people that are putting like Brett in their name or whatever the case may be.
Makes sense. Yeah, every meme coin, depending on the chain, there's different ways to go about it, right? Launching a meme coin on Solana versus launching a meme coin on Bitcoin, 2 completely different dynamics. I do want to pass over and talk to DoggyFi, who's actually building an AMM on Dogecoin for DRC20. So a completely different and emerging ecosystem of meme coins on top of Doge, right? So meme coins on meme coins. What's your take on the conversation so far?
Hey, what's up, everybody? Yeah, thanks, Jake, for letting me come up here. I think there's a lot of interesting points being made. Yeah, I mean, my opinion is that, like, I mean, trying to build a protocol that provides utility is one thing, and then providing utility to a token that functions on that protocol or in relation to other assets is a completely different thing, right? And I think that's the real problem on the latter half of it, right? If you build a decent kind of protocol, I think that, and have a utility for that token in relation to that protocol, I think you're actually grounding something that could be made on something of a joke, right? Like of a meme coin kind of based asset or a chain. As far as like the whole idea of like communities, like evangelizing and like, you know, saying that one coin is better than the other, I think that it's still like, me and my co-founder have always felt like, bro, like it's a multi-nodal approach. So it's great to have these kinds of things, right? Like the mechanics of launching on Solana versus Ethereum versus Doge versus Shiba is all radically different because of the inherent trade-offs that are there from a technology perspective and the economics perspective, right? And each of these communities have their own kind of cultures and vibes, so it should be allowed to thrive. I think that's fantastic. Like whether it's Mog, Brett, anywhere, I think it's great that we're doing these experiments. It's fantastic. And ultimately, like it's the community and the grouping of people that are there that, you know, really make a success of something like, you know, like Bowden, Mog, Brett, like whatever, like to be successful. I think that the devs really, and like teams that build stuff, and this is the way I think me and Rashad like approach this, is like, we just build something that hopefully a community can take over and then drive it forward, right? We're just helping facilitate that action literally. It's like a baton pass, right? So I think this is the way we think about it. Like, and I think that's maybe, I don't know if it's a purist approach about it, but like, we really think that that is the best way to get these communities to build long lasting kind of cultures that like last, you know, down markets and up markets. And that translates hopefully to the greater portion of retail that aren't on crypto, right? As far as like the politify stuff and everything that's there, I think that we're entering this world or this era of like this slipping slide of tokenization, right? Like where all these political parties, all these social movements, it's inevitable that, like you said, like they're going to use crypto and tokenization as a vehicle to like get funds to their particular movement, right? And it's like, if you look at any kind of meme coin action, it's kind of like a social culture movement that's just there. And you can look at political kind of parties being a social culture movement, which theoretically run governments, right? Like, I really don't know if they're actually doing their job, which I would say that they're really not. But either way, it's a vehicle for that, right? I think it's a double-edged sword, right? Because like ultimately they're using the stack to like bring to the masses in a way that like, hey, this tech stack can be used to like drive capital and then really be like a de facto prediction market of attention, right? Of like which kind of like social culture movements, whether it's politify or like DeFi or memefi, whatever it is, like where does the economy and the attention really go to? And I think that's a good thing. I just think like it's up to ultimately these people that are creating these communities and stewards of these communities to like not be a bag of dicks and like fuck people over, right? That's really it.
This is our sales strategy. Don't be a dick.
Yeah, I mean, it's really that simple, right? Like, just don't be a douchebag. Don't be a fucking douchebag and fuck over.
I don't know. There's this. What's the one? Retardio, man. I think they're the opposite of that. They do nothing but be a dick. Like you just respond by being a dick and just call everybody retardio, and maybe that's the growth strategy.
Who knows? Hey, I mean, like it's all on a standard distribution, right? Like there's things that are going to find their way on the curve, right? So if you're more retarded, that's great. But I have a feeling that like our approach is to be retarded and be autistic, but just don't be a fucking dick, right? Yeah, hey, you can be retarded and be a dick.
That's fair. Go ahead. Let's run to Faded real quick, and then we'll go to Hooked on Roonies. Faded, you're muted.
Yeah. Hey, and and you know, one of the things that I just think about when I listen to this conversation, I think it's all great. Everybody has their own flavor of ice cream of what they like, but you know, for me, I have not heard one person say, "Yo, I'm rotating my BTC into Pepe because of the tech." Yeah. We're here to have fun and have the culture and just vibe out with our friends. And to me, for me personally, that's the essence of meme coins. Yeah, I'm not looking at the tech. I'm not looking at will there be an ETF for this, and I have my own personal opinions on that. Like for instance, if I talk to my normies who are very pro crypto, they will literally say, bro, I love what you're doing over there. Have fun. But you cannot give me an argument on how Pepe betters the world. And I'm sorry, I can't. Like, it's a fun coin. It's a lot of fun, but there's no tech behind
bro,
it.
I can give you that argument, man. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Pepe leads freedom movements all over the world, bro. Anytime you see, freedom movements, Pepe's right there, bro.
I'm a big memer, but I see his point. It's hard to push back that, it's here for the tech. So for me, that's why I love Mog. I was new to meme coins, but we just talked about teams and getting out there. I've seen behind the scenes, they were the first team to really show, how to build a coin, to market it. Wolf was saying, there's different ways that people grow. And I think that this team, I think putting the moggles on everybody was very smart, because you eventually building a community, you want to cross everybody. And just personally for MFer coin, love MFer coin. You can see I rock it, but it's really community centric. You need something that crosses all communities, and I think the moggles is the laser eyes of this run. And you look at it, everybody can adopt it, and that's what you need to have.
Oh, we lost you, man.
Sorry about that. My AirPod just ran out, but that's what you need to go parabolic and hit exit velocity, is having everybody adopt it. And that is how every coin should try to position themselves. And I think certain coins like Mog and Pepe have positioned themselves perfectly for that, because everybody can get behind on board. Everybody makes memes with Pepe. Everybody. I don't care what NFT community you're a part of. Everybody does it. Everybody's throwing on the moggles. They don't care what NFT community you're a part of. They're just here to vibe and have fun. And that's how I look at my meme coins. It's not because of the tech.
It's for the attention and the culture and the profits. We'll go to Hooked on Rooney's next.
Oh, hey guys, it's Dr. Popper again. Just wanted to pop in here. I got a couple points. First of all, these spaces are very boring. And I just wanted to let you know, if you could spice things up a little bit, that might be nice. But then second, I thought everybody in here is just, I just wanted to send some compliments and say, you guys are all real good at tossing each other's word salads around. It's real nice the way you do that. But today I've been feeling pretty good. I got a letter from Jared Gensler, and he knew I was suffering from those poor pains, and he sent me a get well soon notice, and I thought that was really nice of him.
Good for you, Mr. Popper.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
I appreciate it.
Good to see you. Another meme coin on Bitcoin. We're gonna continue the rounds. We'll go to BCC, then Sat Daddy, and then Kowalska right after.
Cool. Yeah, man. I just wanted to add to all that you guys said. We kind of actually saw a teaser of like how the meme coin could blow up in a day, and how this could be all over the news and everywhere, like with Boom in March. It's like overnight it was not there, and the next day it was like over $1 billion market cap, and everybody was talking about it. Like I went on TikTok, even I made some content about it on TikTok because it was like a big deal. And if we see a couple more of those, I feel like everybody's going to be talking about the meme coins, like on Solana, especially. Like Solana, I feel like is going to take the lead and is already taking the lead with meme coins, unless we actually get an Ethereum ETF approval, then that might like change things a little bit. And I was gonna say, like, to add to the pinned tweet from Adam McBride on top of the spaces, I really think like the politicians, they could launch their own meme coins. I don't know, they could start taking, I mean, Trump already said he's gonna start taking donations in meme coins like SHIB and stuff, but they could let this like blow up way above scale, and like even some politicians maybe launch their own. I mean, I feel like they probably won't launch their own meme tokens, but some people from their communities could do it for them. And then this thing could get out of hand like crazy, which could, at the end of the day, give them a major excuse to like crack down and bring down the regulations of meme coins and stuff. But even if that's going to happen, even if that scenario plays out, I feel like we have a really fun, like 6 to 12 months ahead of us with meme coins. Just wanted to add that.
Yeah, my question becomes, as meme coins continue to grow, like, at what point is it ever too much? Like, at what point do people kind of just give up because it's become so microscopic in terms of the communities, right? You have Mog is the attention one, and Pepe, and a lot of the like larger ones have now taken off, especially since we're kind of in the middle of this bull market, or some stage that's not in the beginning. Do people eventually just kind of give up on them because there's too many options, there's too many tokens? I mean, we saw, I think it was a few days ago or last week, where Pump.Fun was putting out about 20,000 tokens in one day. And if this keeps expanding to all these other chains, I've seen a similar Pump.Fun people are trying to do on Base and a handful of these other ones, and you're getting hundreds of thousands of tokens for meme coins being created per day. Does that ever become too much for the average person to want to participate in it, and they just say, fuck it, I'm buying Doge because I know this will at least retain some value? And that's generally like kind of like market top kind of cycles. But I don't think meme coins will be alone in that situation. But my thing is just like, how far can tokenized culture go to where people want to revert back to NFTs or VR or 404s or some sort of kind of hybrid token model that's a little bit more advanced? So I'll just put that question out there as we make our rounds. We're going to go to Sat Daddy and then Cool Oscar right after.
What's up, guys? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Cool. Yeah, I've been listening for a little bit. I love that everyone's super bullish, but I think we need like at least one guy, that's going to be me, to come in with like a tiny reality check.
Bring it, bro.
The U.S. government does not give a fuck about any of you or me.
Thank you very much. That's really I've never heard that before.
let him cook.
So, like,
let him cook, bro.
They're trying to pass this bill, and everyone's like, yeah, it's gonna bring more money into crypto. Like, yeah, we might have a pump, whatever, but like, they're not passing this bill to help us out, bro. They're passing the bill because they see they're losing control. They're slipping, and they see it. Yep. They're not fucking dumb. Their whole goal is to control us. They pass this bill, that opens the door to all the things they want to pass after that. 100%. I don't think it's a good thing. I don't want it. The whole point is to be decentralized.
Check my post in the Nest. Second one over. Yeah, I mean, a lot of us see what's going on here, and this is like they're looking to grab more power, not less. So yeah, you could celebrate because number go up, but capturing crypto is definitely on the agenda, and giving it to their friends over in Wall Street certainly seems like the strategy. And by the way, I just pinned up that new tweet. My thing is Mogs are the new laser eyes. Whoever said that, I love that little quote. So credit to you for that one, man.
Let's hope it doesn't go cringe.
Bro, everything eventually goes cringe. So
hey, real quick about the cringe, like,
yeah, it definitely will. It like that's what happens. That is literally like the way that culture works. You know, like it begins as counterculture, and then it like eventually becomes, and that's okay. That's like it's cyclical. You know, it should happen that way.
Yeah, right. It's only cringe when you stop. It's only cringe when you stop. So, and it's kind of like to Slump's point. Slump said that really early on in one of our Mog spaces. And I took that to heart, and I'm like, you know what? God damn it, I'm never gonna stop posting about Mogcoin. But another thing is like mom jeans. They're great in the '90s, and they became kind of cringe, and now everybody wears mom jeans. So I kind of look at that as cyclical.
And what's old is new again. So there's something that a quote that I've said for quite a while is that culture is generally created in the absence of wealth, and then as a community or a culture starts generating revenue and becoming more mainstream, then commercialization generally comes in and starts ripping it apart and commoditizing certain aspects of the culture. Do we see this happening with meme coins? I would say, you could look at kind of Dogecoin as an example. Because it's not politicized really yet, but you have Elon Musk who's, has billions of dollars in this token. He had to do, he actually posted one of his wallets recently that had over $1 billion, and in Dogecoin that was listed under his son's name. Do we see this happening with other meme coins where, for example, like Pepe, because Pepe's, it's on every chain, and you try to dilute the value because people are trying to create Pepe on other chains, and you have old Pepe and new Pepe. Does this eventually happen to the meme coin market where it's not really a culture coin anymore? It's more focused on the attention coin, and it's because institutions are just large teams, or just more savvy people come in and they know how to capture that attention and start unbundling it and start commoditizing it in certain aspects of it. That's kind of something I'd be looking to pay attention to as well. And I'll leave that question out as we make our rounds. So Koloski, thank you for waiting patiently.
Hey, thank you. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
By the way. Okay. Yeah. So I just wanted to briefly speak about the long-term prospects of meme coins and what they kind of represent in light of like the larger economic realities we're facing, which I think is probably like pretty apparent, especially if you work in or around technology. Because I think when you look at meme coins, and I think everyone here would acknowledge that there's no direct utility, like I think the best case from a societal perspective you could make for meme coins is that they enable people with a deep intuitive or even like a knowledge of culture that they gain from just being deeply embedded on the internet. These are people who are like directly tapped into the cultural pulses of like the online reality that's being expanded. They are the ones who are going to consolidate money from that. And I think it's worth acknowledging that, the people who are becoming rich from meme coins are directly reappropriating money from, largely normal people, like exit liquidity, people who are putting small amounts of money into crypto, or other people who are just like have become rich off of cryptocurrency. But either way, there are losers in meme coins. That's how they work. But I think we're going to see more of that and not less, because in the light of like the increasing efficacy of robotics and of artificial intelligence, I mean, human labor is going to become devalued. And when that happens, the only thing that is left is cultural capital. And I think a lot of the economy is going to move over to the production of culture as the primary way that most people gain or lose capital. And I'm not necessarily saying that that's going to be like right away, or that's like even in the next like 10 years. But I am willing to venture that the more that human labor is automated, the more that things like meme coins are going to become the primary economic vehicle that most people use to gain or lose wealth. And I think, in many ways, this is like meme coins prefigure a reality where culture is what most people are doing and spending most of their time doing. So I think
you're saying that the new economy is meme coin culture. That's the way humans in the future will make and earn money, is through meme coins. Is that what you're saying?
Not just that, but like across the board, like cultural production will be the primary economic expression of everyone. Like, like in the same way that.
What about those people who aren't creative at all, who can't create anything, who are just kind of like, not that? What about them?
Right. And I'm sure there will be like UBI to support people who.
Oh, God help us, man.
I mean, like, it's just, if you think about what would you be able to economically contribute in a reality where we're at the point where like AI and robotics are able to replace most human labor, what then are humans supposed to do economically? Because there will still be like the desire for status and to move money around and to acquire wealth. But I think the vehicle for that will be almost entirely cultural. I think like
Pensive Chepe says memes for socialism. Can you eat memes?
Not. But I do think there will be increasingly like capitalism will move over to cultural production.
Oh God.
It's an interesting philosophy. I guess, would you say then, just to extend this a little bit, is cultural production primarily in the domain of the digital economy? Is there a way to create culture or cultural production on things that are not, or that are off-chain kind of components to this?
Yeah, I'm sure, but I think like why would you do that when you could make money? Like I think meme coins are just so wired like deeply into like human psychology. Like you make money so fast and you can just be moving like skimming culture and getting these like constant like hits of dopamine that I think why would you build culture offline when you could build it online?
Well, for example, here, I actually just tweeted this out recently, right? Like meme coins do have utility. I'd say most of it's just off chain, right? I mean, you have like these, you get for meme coin community, I would say the biggest utility is actually social media engagement. Like once you start backing a meme coin, the entire community just completely, right, just obliterates your timeline and just get a million likes, a million retweets, and not as many views. And I would say like you could tell when a meme coin community is pumping somebody's engagement because the views are actually quite small comparative to the amount of retweets and likes that somebody gets. And then after that, right, then it extends to, you know, private chats and to IRL meetups. Like a lot of that cultural production is being produced off chain. And then the financial production is being produced on chain, right? The equivalent of like buying and selling. And Memefi, right? All these like DeFi applications that are now using meme coins in a variety of ways. So that's kind of what I meant by, is this cultural production off chain as well?
Yeah, I mean, I would say yes, of course, like because you have to eventually get off chain because people live off chain. But I would say like increasingly, just from my perspective, things are like culture, friendships, like everything that are standard cultural units now are going to start online and then move offline. And I think, you know, the physical, the in-person, IRL becomes secondary and the digital becomes primary. And I think you've already seen that start to succeed through like the first and second gen NFTs, and then, you know, and then the rest will come forward. But I think just one thing I wanted to impart was just like to assure that everyone who's positive about meme coins and like bullish about them is correct. But I think also it's worth acknowledging that like this isn't like a utopia. Like there will be winners and losers, and you know, the winners are going to be people who are deeply embedded in digital, like in digital culture, and understand it at a level that other people do not.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree. Great takes. Moving on, we'll go to Lump, Wolf, and then DoggyFi.
It's just slumped, man.
Slumped, my bad.
Yeah, no, it's totally okay. The B is basically like you guys kind of just
be
talked about
silent.
it.
Be silent.
Well, no, the B. It's actually I've been working with these guys on base. It's like a base Melio thing where we're adding the B's to the names just because it works. I love seeing people with the B in their name. It gets me hyped. But that's not what I wanted to talk about. What I wanted to talk about is like, with the digital identity that we just talked about, it's quickly becoming kind of like, I think, you know, a lot of us grew up online. A lot of us have been online forever, you know, and a digital identity for us is second nature. But through MOG and through like just spending so much time, I guess, like cultivating a community, something that you said that I thought was, I don't remember who said it, that I thought was like really interesting and super important to talk about is, yes, number going up always is like, that's what we want, that's what we aim for. But the engagement piece, the ability for like total normies to hop online, find a coin that they like resonate with in some way, shape, form, or fashion, and then they're heard, you know, like they join the pack and quickly, like they're getting engagement, they're gaining followers, they're like becoming a part of a cultural movement that is happening totally online. And it's really, really interesting because I'm seeing it now where like they're like people who are totally normal. They have like 9-to-5 jobs. They're doing like what's it called? Like literally just living the American like standard way of life, I guess. And for those people, even, it's becoming quickly apparent that the quote unquote American dream, the idea of like bust your ass for 40, 50 years and like you can retire and everything's fine. It's like quickly becoming apparent even to these total normies that that is not the case. Like things do not happen that way any longer. And I think someone earlier was asking about the saturation of meme coins. At the end of the day, people will never like, I don't know. We never see people like, oh, there's too many casinos. You know, people are never going to stop gambling. People are never going to stop like wanting a different way out. And I think that as the digital identity becomes more important, becomes like a bigger part of people's everyday lives, we're going to see like there's really no limit to the number of meme coins because people are always going to want that like opportunity to hyper gamble their way into a new tax bracket because how else are you going to do it? You know, like I really can't think of a better way to like make money to like better your life outside of cryptocurrency right now. And I think that a lot of other people see the exact same thing, you know? And yeah, sure. Like, I think that, you know, you do have to talk about the fact that there are winners and there are losers. But at the end of the day, that's like the same as the stock market. That's the same as really anything else. And I think that when you introduce this community aspect, this whole like financialization of relationships, it creates this environment where yes, there's going to be winners and there's going to be losers, but people at the end of the day, they are fairly good at telling, you know, who's a genuine person and who's not. And the people who like, you know, they might hop online and get burned as fuck on a meme coin and they're like, oh, this really sucks. But if they don't quit and they like continue building a persona and continue like cultivating relationships, then at the end of the day, like until the regulation comes in, until the government is like, all right, this like totally unchecked like Wild West has to end. If you stick at it long enough, like if you're here and you're doing the damn thing, you will win eventually. Like it's just the way it goes. If you like focus on befriending people who are doing things in a way that isn't totally nefarious, then you will win. Like you will. It's just the way it goes. Like I fundamentally believe that if you stick to it and you are willing to kind of like entrench yourself in these various communities and figure out like what works and what doesn't and just use, you know, a little bit of cognitive reasoning, then your time will come. And I think that we're going to see more, you know, quote unquote, normal people who realize this and see this. And, you know, they start posting with one coin and then quickly they're hit with the dopamine of like 100 followers. Then they're like, oh shit, like I want to be a part of this. This is something cool. This is something that like I can, you know, this is an outlet for me. And I think it'll start as an outlet for many people because that's what it is. You know, it's like an opportunity not only to hyper gamble, but to build relationships in a way that's removed from the droll of everyday life, like working for money that is constantly being devalued.
Jake, does this sound familiar to you, buddy?
It doesn't matter how many meme coins are made, how many like how oversaturated, quote unquote, the market gets. Like people are going to continue gambling, and people are going to continue like cultivating that digital identity, and the combination of those two will result in like some coins that win and some coins that lose, more coins that lose. But it's just the way I think about it, at least.
Wag me, bro. That's wag me. That's wag me all over again. That's wag me repackaged for a 2024 audience.
You know, it actually sounds like the
Jake. I can't hear you. I'm gonna leave the thing because okay. I can't hear anybody for some reason.
You know, it actually sounds like the Bitcoin maxi take from the last two cycles, where it's the something flight to quality, right? Where like everyone comes in for shit coins, and eventually it all leads to Bitcoin, right? I think they still say that now. Ultimately, it seems like they're kind of getting sidetracked on the way to Bitcoin with just more shit coins, more meme coins, right? It's another question: is does retail who comes in through meme coins eventually find their way to the L1s like Bitcoin, Solana, and Ethereum? Like, and then eventually does that trickle out to more DeFi participants, right? As I see products popping up for MemeFi. As this conversation was going on, I saw something pop up called it was like a WIF DCA, where it takes like your WIF. It's like a liquid staking WIF that takes the yield and DCAs into WIF, right? So now they're going to make it a little bit easier. That's essentially a DeFi. It's not the like TradFi DeFi that we had thought about, the past few cycles, right? DCAing onto meme coins is still kind of DeFi, just not the direct kind of DeFi that we had
DeFi
thought.
with more steps.
DeFi with more steps, DeFi with memes, I guess, right? It's kind of the direction. Does it just become more memetic over time, or does the industry ever get serious? Which was another kind of another knock against meme coins, saying that it's unserious, or is this just kind of the way of the internet, right? Where the internet's always been kind of weird and strange and kind of off from and similar to what's happening in the real world, but not identical. So another question that's around, if anyone wants to answer as we make it through the hands again, we'll go to Sat Daddy, Wolf, Faded, and then Doggyfi.
Can you guys hear me? I'm in a bad area right now.
Yep.
All right, cool. Yeah, I had an interesting question I want to pose and get your guys' take on it, and then I'll say what I think. What is the utility, other than the obvious spending at the grocery store, the utility of the US dollar?
Oh man, it's just a medium of exchange.
The main utility is you can pay your taxes with it, and they enforce that. And if you don't pay your taxes with it, you go to jail.
To me, the main utility right now, the only fucking utility, is onboarding and offboarding crypto, right? Like, yes, you can spend some crypto at places, but it's not mainstream enough. If I want to buy a house, I'm not buying it in Bitcoin right now, especially not in New York. So, like, to me, the only fucking value of the dollar is to get in and out of crypto.
It's fair. I actually was listening to a conversation, I think yesterday. They were talking about one of the reasons why the US is or some of the government agencies have began to support crypto is because of the stablecoin initiatives and the ability, exactly to what you're speaking of exporting some debt to the internet, on-chain debt to the internet, which allows the Federal Reserves to work in a little bit more unison as they can all kind of print together and help devalue, all of these fiat currencies in unison. So that was kind of an interesting thought. I think there is some truth to exactly what you're saying, and it's kind of heading towards that way.
It's like the dollar is already a digital currency. If you look at how much money is online in dollar values, when you go to a bank.
Hey man, we're losing you. You were cutting in and out. Who was next, Jake? Is it Wolf?
We're gonna go to Wolf. Yeah, Wolf, Faded, then Doggy.
Hey yo, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, we got you.
Right on. So what's really cool here, we saw with the NFTs was, like they're token gated, right? So you can get into parties, blah, 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 merch, blah, blah, blah. It's cool. But what's really cool, some of these meme coins, specifically like MOG, and is like it's a verb, right? It's a word. It's a one vowel word. You can use it in any sentence. It's been around for about a decade, whatever, yada, yada, yada. But that is in itself like word of mouth. It spreads in a way that it's free. I don't know. Like what's really cool is like, with some of these meme coins, obviously I'm sure that there are teams with marketing budgets, but with MOG, it's just basically pervasive through the internet. And I think you see it in the real life. Like I got literally told, I'm not even bullshitting you guys. I was wearing a pair of Pit Vipers and some teenager was like, dude, you're mogging. And they have known nothing about MOG coin. So what I'm saying is like, I'm hella just like enthused to see where the next 3 to 6 months goes with that. Now it could be nothing burger, but I would be I would be kind of retarded. Sorry for saying that, but yeah, for thinking that there's nothing there, right? So again, like it's something so simple as a word that can be used in a lot of different contexts by a lot of different people that mean a lot of different things to do something good, right? So that's kind of like the utility, even if it's kind of bottom of the barrel to some that like, what's the real use case here? Well, it's a verb, just like the word Google. We'll Google it. will mog it, you know? And that might take a little bit of time to really kind of get out there and to basically be, you know, used or understood that way. But I see it that way, and I'm manifesting it on God. So everyone else put their hands up. What's up?
Manifest it. Let's go. Meme coins to the moon. Faded and then Doggy.
Yeah, man. I think you guys are a lot more intelligent and sophisticated than I am. When you guys talk about utility and what's up next, you know, when I think about it, I did a startup, and I'll land this plane nicely in about 30 seconds. You know, one of the VCs that I raised money for, you know, he basically said, I want to know that you can create a sentiment, and 5 people will be very evangelistic and rabid towards your product rather than 500 people kind of like it. Because I know if you can create that sentiment, I can scale that out and we have a winner. And I think when you look at meme coins, there is a progression, just like building a company, of how it goes through retail. And at the end of the day, people do want to make money. If you don't think institutions are trading Pepe right now, you're freaking nuts. They're definitely trading Pepe right now because they realize that they can make some money. But it has to get to scale at first. It doesn't start that way. Just like, you know, a human life cycle has to start as a young person and then grow older, just like a meme coin. Now, when I look at MOG and specifically other meme coins that I would like to, that I have conviction in, and everybody has their own recipe, I look at that sentiment. What that person said, I forget who said it, was online, offline. You know, that is the sentiment that I feel with my conviction plays. And to give it, like, I'll just say this, I don't have as big as bags as some of the people that I have here. I am so bullish on MOG and willing to do anything to see my friends freaking win. Because I want them to freaking win, and we all win. And I don't think every coin and every community and everything creates a sentiment like that they can scale out and go to not just 10 people, but thousands of people. And if you find yourself thinking about that and feeling that way, that's the utility, man. Yo, because I'm looking at these people, I've never met any of them in real life. Would I sit down and have a beer with them? Hell freaking yeah, I would. Because that's what it started online, but I can take it offline because now I know who they are. They're part of me. They're MFers just like me. And I want to vibe with people that I want to vibe with, and I want to win with people that I vibe with. And that's how I look at meme coins. Will, you know, they have a political thing? Man, I don't know. I can't tell you. But what I can tell you is if I vibe with you and you can create that sentiment, then retail, whenever and whoever they come in, they're going to vibe with it too.
Hey, fair enough. Came for the tech, stayed for the friends, I suppose, right? I guess
and the number go up, man.
Came for the meme, stayed for the tech.
I support that. What's up, DoggyFi?
Yeah, I definitely subscribe to this idea that I think that CBDC vibe is like a way to like basically get the US dollar out into more people's hands and like, I guess, globalize the debt rather than localize it to just us US citizens. But like, I completely also agree on just like this whole vibe of like, yeah, dude, you're basically betting on a social movement. So, and this community to like capture that social movement. Yeah. And you need like 5 like followers really that are like fucking evangelical and like rabid at foaming at the mouth about whatever your community is, whatever the message is. And then the rest will just fucking follow suit. Right. And like, I think that this natural progression of these people that'll be around the followers will have some people that are like build utility into these kind of movements that'll be like, oh, okay, we can create some kind of product around it. Right. Like, I keep joking about it, but it's like literally yesterday after coming back from a meetup for our city DAO, like I did some math on like the junk bond stuff around meme coins. And I'm like, holy shit, like this shit could really work. I wouldn't be surprised if there's like this degen style TradFi instrumentation that forms around this stuff. And there's hedge funds and like prop trading firms that are actually trading these assets that are also doing the math. And they have a series of quants that have also done this too. But yeah, man, like I think that this is like honestly like the place where retail is more likely to arrive rather than something like an L2 or like a new L1. Like it's simply because it's just way more attention seeking, right? Because the communities and the social vibes that are there, and that being more like of a brain worm that can get into retail minds than, you know, talking purely about tech on like a restaking protocol on like something like Babylon. Don't get me wrong, I think the Babylon tech is like fucking dope, but like, bro, like who the fuck is going to go look at that shit? Like no retail participant is going to look at that shit. They have a higher percentage of like finding something retarded, like on Base or Solana or something like that, and then gravitating and like forming an attention around it, and the community being like, oh, we fuck with you, you fuck with us, and then that's where they are, right? So I really think that like that's the way we're probably heading, whether we like it or not. Like for people who are like purely in it for the tech, but like yeah, you come for the vibes, and you might get slowly red pilled into the tech. But yeah, this is just my little random rant on it. But yeah.
If anything, it seems like meme coins are here to stay, at least for the cycle. There's a lot of attention, a lot of capital. I mean, if you just look at meme coins outside of the culture, what they really are just a vehicle to add speculation to kind of an emerging ecosystem. When you look at all these new L1s that pop up, all these new kind of L2s, the first thing to pop off is a meme coin. And generally there's a handful of them. And this is kind of this like community wealth generation effect where you get this meme coin to pop up on this L2, and then that pops off and kind of trickles down to the remainder of the ecosystem. So it's kind of interesting to see. They generally exist in the absence of utility, or absence of kind of a mature ecosystem. I guess would be like the best way to put it. Mike, I'd be interested to see, a year or two from now, all of these new meme coins that are popping up on all of these different L2s and different ecosystems, if they actually hang around, or if that liquidity ends up flowing to other projects as these tokenized networks do pop up. We'll do one last final round of hands, and then we'll probably wrap it up here. I appreciate everyone that's come on. We'll do Faded, Wolf, and then end with Mindles.
Perfect. The only thing I want
mindless.
Go ahead. Perfect. The only thing I wanted to comment on, which I think is, yeah, you're right. You're going to see these protocols try to pop off their meme coins because they realize that gets the attention, and that brings in. And if we're honest, it only costs a couple $1 million to make one of these things go into the $1 billion market cap, and that gets all the news in the cycle. I'm not gonna say the name of the chain, but it rhymes with Babalanche. They're not they're not really the most ethical thing if people know the whole lawyer situation, but they have definitely talked about pumping their own ecosystem to bring attention over there. Did I buy some of their meme coins? Hell yes, I did. Do I expect it to go to zero? Hell yes, I do. But the upside, if Avalanche Foundation starts bidding on their own meme coins, is there. This is the world we live in. It's just, you kind of just have to, I think at the end of the day, I'll just say, know the game you're playing, know how it's played, know the rules, and know the players. That's the rule for anything, whether it's meme coins or anything at life. And if you don't know that, the only risk is then not knowing that.
Yep, you're right.
Facts. I think Avalanche Foundation is actually bidding. I think they put an announcement about that at some point towards the end of last year.
I mean, people were saying the same thing about Base, Blast. It's the same deal. Like, totally get it. 100%. Go ahead, Wolf.
Oh, yeah, guys. I was just going to say, really, this cycle to me, I just look at the bell curve, right? And I just look at these meme coins as like the extreme ends. Because it's either, it just clicks. For me, I consider myself more left curve. I'm not going to ever say I'm smarter than a lot of you guys in here. But it comes down to this. Like, it comes down to who you know, what you know. Sometimes luck obviously is involved, but conviction, right? And belief in yourself and what you're about, right? And that's what's so cool about this is you imbue that in a community of like-minded individuals, and like fire, just like iron strengthens iron here. And I see that in Mog. I saw it in Pepe very early. And that's why I'm so excited going into 2024, this election cycle, this summer. I'm super pumped to be on the left curve with a bunch of guys who are on the right curve, and we just understand each other. And that's that. And I appreciate you guys having me up here today.
I appreciate you. Mindless, take us home. If you're there, good. I don't hear.
Mindless is down bad, down horrendous.
Like, I don't hear anything.
Talk on that guy. I hope he's okay.
Yeah, Mindless is okay. Mindless is just probably in a bad service, but he's very smart. He's the right curve kind of guy to my left curve. So.
Oh man, perfect. I'm sad that
I like to get my left swerve on.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, having some connection issues. Sorry about that, Mindless. Maybe next time or maybe tomorrow. I think we're gonna wrap it up here. Some final notes, dude. Appreciate everyone for coming on and having a really awesome conversation about meme coins. That's not just about number go up, although that is the point for most of it. It's important to understand some of the movement that's happening and kind of talk about the philosophy and the ideology surrounding where it's going. If you guys don't know, Adam and myself, we work at Emblem Vault, the leading cross-chain NFT protocol in the industry with over 100 million in TVV. That's total value vaulted. We host the show Tuesday through Thursday at 11:30 a.m. Eastern time. We will be back tomorrow. Every Thursday, we do our inscription show. That's covering everything from ordinals, stamps, doginals, ETHscriptions, Bellinals, Hashinals, anything with an inscription or it's on Bitcoin. We will be talking about that tomorrow. Make sure that you give myself, Adam, and Emblem Vault, specifically Emblem Vault, a follow so that you could stay in tune. And we'll continue this conversation tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. Eastern time. Until then, guys, everybody be safe. Hold on to your meme coins dearly and hold on because this is going to be a long, long ride. See you guys tomorrow.